The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Welcome to Generations Radio, where the focus is on our seniors and their families. We are here each Saturday afternoon from 5 until 6 p.m., bringing you resourceful information with our radio team of professionals in the field of aging. Stay with us for the next 1 hour as we explore different ways to make life more exciting and meaningful for our extraordinary seniors. Right here on AM 690 The Answer. And now, here is our host and the publisher of Generations Magazine, Percy Ihara.
Good afternoon and welcome to Generations Radio. I'm here every Saturday from 5 to 6 and Sunday from 3 to 4. And thank you for tuning in if you're listening to us live here or if you're from our website, generations808.com. But I should be actually sitting on the other side of this table here because we have professionals in the studio today. Senator Brickwood and Miss Marlene Sai, welcome to the show.
Hey,
Aloha.
Aloha to you guys. I should go on the other side. Let Brickwood interview us, yeah, Marlene.
Yeah, that'd be something. Just to relive those days.
Yeah, I remember them days.
With the announcer of the show. The guy who announced the show just a little while ago.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, but you sat behind the mic for a bunch of years, too, you know.
A bunch of years, almost 3 decades.
Yeah.
Three decades?
Yeah. We started off with, at the time, it was called KCCN 1420 AM, the Hawaiian music station.
Yeah.
1420. And then we began a long run with what is today, if you don't mind me saying, FM 100. Sure. You know, and Kimo Kahoana, and I started that one. And then about 9 years later, we got too old for that demographic.
Really?
and then we started up Hawaiian 105 with Frank B. Shaner.
The kupuna.
He was the kupuna at the time.
But he is older than you, right?
Yeah, by a bit. I think, if we always
Dear
go back
Frank,
to the year.
Well, and say hello to Frank up in Kula, Maui.
Yes. Aloha, Frank.
He listens once in a while. Our website is growing, and you can listen to all these shows on our website, generations808.com, and it's very well listened to. We're statewide, by the way, through AM 690. But so, Brickwood, after so many years, somebody asked me, so what is he doing being a politician?
Yeah. Well, we're just singing a different song. It started a while back when we went into a full-time work in entertainment. I was actually in Marlene Sai's orchestra at the Monarch Room of the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. Okay. She was the headliner over there. She's the headliner today.
Of course.
Yeah. And ironically, years later, she became a part of my staff at the Capitol. Mm-hmm. And I would often ask her, "Hey, who's the senator here? What's going on?"
That's because we're old friends, you know.
Yeah, old friends.
Very connected.
Very much
many years.
And every move that I make, no matter who I speak to, people say, "Oh, you went from music, and you went to the radio, you did the television, and now you're senator." Wow! I said, "No, all lateral moves. Everyone is a lateral move. Everyone's just as important as the other."
But as important as it is, you've kind of focused on senior issues, and one of the things we want to talk about today will be about the Kupuna Power, which is in the third year. Is it third year now?
No, this is our fourth year. Kupuna Power is our fourth year, yes.
And so for those of you that don't know about Kupuna Power, I know Brickwood's trying to find the headsets here.
That's okay.
But you don't actually need a headset, actually. Well, so anyway, so it's on April 6th, Wednesday. So give our audience a little bit of background on what's going to happen on that day.
Yeah, Kupuna Power is a day of empowerment for the kupunas right in the middle of our session. As a matter of fact, the legislative session ends in May, so we're trying to make sure that the Kupuna Power ends up right in the seat of the legislature at the time that we're making our big decisions. So that's why it's going to be in April at the rotunda of the state capitol. It's pretty much an incredible senior fair with bling, 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 like Marlene and Danny Clay Kinney.
So it's going to run from 9 a.m. to 11:30 at the rotunda.
Yep.
And you're going to have entertainers. Who's coming this year? Do you know?
It's going to be every year. We try and get mature performers, if you will.
Kupuna type.
Yeah,
That's
Kupuna
good.
type.
Okay.
Those who embrace it and those who deny it. But
that's true.
Basically, it's Marlene Sai. She brings her golden voice, to Kupuna Power. And we have Danny Kalekini. He's
Danny's
joined
gonna be
us
there.
every year thus far. We normally would have Jimmy Borges, but Jimmy's been not well of late, so he's actually going to be replaced this year by Mr. 422222. Frank DeLima
Frank
is
DeLima.
coming.
Yes, he is. Yes,
Wow.
he is. And
This
we're
is
looking
gonna be
forward to a fun time with Frank.
And then our second queen is
Nina Keli'ivahamana.
Kelly Ivahamana.
Yeah.
I just saw her at that Moana 115th anniversary at the
Yeah.
Moana Hotel. Beautiful job, by the way.
Yeah, she always does.
So it's a fun opportunity, I think, for not only for the stars to get back on stage and just do their thing, but it's also a good way for everybody to come down to be a part of the state capitol's action too.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Numbers count.
Yeah.
We really need to get the seniors out there and to push for issues. I know we're going to talk about a few issues later on that's currently going on in the legislature, but you're going to have different booths and exhibitors there, right?
We
For the
have
public.
about 30 plus vendors, and we're really excited about that because they're all coming out in support and knowing, most of them know, every year they know a little bit more about Kupuna Power, and so they're coming from all the different factions of support issues and support groups for the Kupuna. So a lot of the information will be there that day.
Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare, identity theft, long-term care insurance,
Yes.
which is really important.
Yes.
Technology going to be there.
Yes.
For Kupuna, not even guys who are maybe even junior seniors, like
The baby boomers.
Like
Yeah,
the two of you.
But even when we need to have our technologies updated or we need to know something about it, the first one I go to is my 9-year-old granddaughter because she knows so much about technology. So we figured this is a good opportunity for us to get everybody keyed into technology, and so there's going to be a booth over there where you'll be able to go and learn about it. We've got some things that we're going to share from the stage as well on how to key into your phone or whatever it is. So we're trying to add different elements each and every Kupuna Power, each and every year. And this being our 4th year, we now get to, shift a little bit. But as the Kupuna get older, and I think in a few years, about 1/3 of our population will be over 60.
Yeah. Right now it's about 21%, 22%. It's going up every year.
It's going up every year.
And we're living longer, too.
Yes, we are. We're living longer, which means that the system, has to account for all of this. And that's where the action is. It's at the state capitol. So it's just really important that your listeners know that on April 6th, we invite them to come down from 9 to 11. Kupuna, they come down like 7:30 in the morning, right? 8 o'clock.
Yes.
But we'll be ready.
We'll be ready. I know. I was there last year early.
And it's all free, so come, bring your ohana, bring your friends, come to the Capitol in the Rotunda, and we'll all be there waiting for you and entertaining. And we'll have some exercise from the chair. Yeah?
That's right. Exercise. I remember when we put this together for the first year, right, Percy? And Marlene's been with us from the start. In fact, she's one of the founding mothers of Kupuna Power, if you will.
Right.
But we wanted some exercise. But we wanted to make sure that it was low-impact exercise. Because the one thing we didn't need was oxygen down at the Rotunda. We already got a lot of hot air going on at the Capitol. But oxygen, no, that wouldn't serve us well. So it's great. It stretches.
Yeah.
Stuff that like Ihara and Galuteria can handle.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, we're sitting down all day long. That's the reason why. We really need to do that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a great day. So don't forget, April 6th is the day. And if you want more information, and your or what technology is all about, go to your computers, look up www.pacificgatewaycenter.org.
And we have the information there.
That's right.
And the reason why Pacific Gateway Center, can we talk about that, please? Pacific Gateway Center is a nonprofit organization that has been around for, I would say about 40 years. And they have numerous programs that fall under Pacific Gateway's kuleana. One of them, the most recent one, is Na Kupuna Makamai Center.
Yes.
And so Nakupuna Makamai Center is embracing and really running with the ball on Kupuna Power this year because I am involved with Nakapuna Makamai
Right.
Center.
You'll be opening up later this year, but before Brickwood's got to go back to session.
Yeah.
You want to talk about some of any issues, legislative issues, so we can have Marlene for the second half.
Yeah, because she's going to be the program coordinator plus for the Kupuna Makamai Center. So you got a lot to talk
Right,
about.
right.
If it's the old pump station down at the end of South Street that everybody grew up with,
Right.
that's been sitting there for over 50 years, not doing a thing. Well, it's going to be our beloved Kupuna Center for Kaka'ako, which is the district that I serve. So,
Yeah.
so that brings us back to the capital.
Yeah. So what's going on? You got a number of bills here, the Kupuna Caucus bills. You can talk about that briefly.
We got a couple of bills that actually got caught up in the shuffle, and they have to do with long-term care, you know, and they have to do with caregiving. So these are two bills that I believe we should continue dialogue about because they didn't make it out of committee.
Oh, okay. The long-term care one, I know long-term care program
Yeah.
didn't make it out, and also probably the one related to human services.
The caregiver bill that essentially when you're leaving a hospital and you want to get clearly briefed and dialogued from the medical facility, that we wanted to ensure that by putting in legislation. But going back to the long-term care bill, okay, now that's important to continue conversation on because we just mentioned the fact that soon a third, now it's almost a quarter of the population is over 60.
Right.
As you're going to get older, you're going to need, and you're going to have to give, in most cases, long-term care. And so I think one of the biggest expenses in the bureaucracy is social services, and in this particular area is medical services for elderly.
Yep.
And
It's
so
so important.
What we're trying to do in this particular bill was we're trying to use the GET tax as a part of a long-range revenue-producing vehicle, and the GET hasn't been touched in a long time. The only thing it's been touched for is the rail.
The rail, and it's been extended to 2027.
27, 25, 27, something
Yeah.
like that. And this is where some of the people who have been discussing this for a while, in their search for a dedicated funding stream, went to the GET.
Yeah.
So it was 0.5% off of the GET. I know a lot of people get heartburn about that, but at the same time, we must consider sources of revenue because it's long-term. I mean, long-term in care.
Well, I've been saying this for at least 10 years now, that long-term care and caregiving is going to be the biggest social and financial crisis we're going to face this century. And you think about that, for our age or maybe older, they took care of their parents. Now, do you think your kids will be able to take care of you?
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough call. Medicaid right now is swamped as it is, and in 5 to 10 years from now, they're not going to be enough. There are not going to be enough funds in Medicaid to take care of everybody. But here's a scary stat. I heard of a lady talking about from the University of Hawaii recently and saying 60% of all the nurses are over 60.
Okay.
Whoa.
All right.
Yes.
There you go. Now
And
you're looking at
my
a generation of
God.
skilled workers.
They're going to
Yes.
be out of the workforce, and and also 10 to 15% are over 50. So that means the next 20 years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
70% of the caregivers, nurses will not be around.
Sure.
And we're not educating enough nurses here in Hawaii.
I think
So that profession needs to be replenished.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Caregiving is going to be hit
Oh,
hard.
yes.
So,
And so what will happen, what essentially has been happening is that the caregiving has been done by non-professionals who are basically family members. We all know this. And the ability for them to access good services should be a part of the experience of the caregiver, right? Because if you can go someplace that will provide you with the information necessary, like Generations Magazine as an example, right? Generations Magazine should be on every coffee table in
we're
Hawaii.
trying. We're
Yeah.
trying.
And I know, and you guys try. And by the way, you're very successful. And the piece that you folks have is quality work. Okay.
Well, look at this issue right now, facing Alzheimer's. I mean, that's
Oh,
that's a scary disease.
It is a scary disease, and there's no answer medically for it.
You know what? If I may, I'd like to just inject here because Nakapuna Makamai Center, one of the programs that we just initiated and had had classes of 16 hours, was on home health care, and part of that whole learning process within the 16 hours was on dementia. Okay, so it's how to care for, hands-on, and all of that basic skills. We're putting out this program too, and so we're just starting, and so just want the public to know,
No, that's good.
and to keep an eye out for our future, because we would like to do this quarterly, and we'll even do it mobile. We'll go to your areas and to have these classes.
Nakupuna Makamai will be a great addition to Kaka'ako. Kaka'ako has some senior housing, and so this will be our Mo'ili Senior Center. This will be our Lanakila multi-purpose center. Right?
But people can come from all over because we're right on the bus route too, so they
That's
can
one of the
come.
best things about your facility.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I can talk about my kuleana and my territory.
Oh, no, that's okay. I think, it's all relative.
I know.
Everything is relative.
Because I know what you're talking about is very, very
Well,
important.
when it comes to policy,
Yeah.
I think, we want Hawaii to lead the way when it comes to seniors.
We should. We have the most seniors. We live longer
per
than any place
capita.
else.
That's
There's
true.
a lot of, and there's so much knowledge there. I believe that there's also the drive towards intergenerational type of relationships too, because the same way when we referred to our cell phones and us asking our grandchildren, how do you get into that app, that sort of thing. Well, the same thing can be said for them too, where the senior can share an experience, and I remember the days when I used to sit down with my tutu man, and he used to tell me about his fishing or something, whatever it was. I'm hoping that there's still a lot of those conversations going on, but maybe you can. These are conversations as well. I mean, I'm sure you
They're
must find
priceless.
golden moments
Yeah.
for your magazine and for this show.
Yep. And we're going to house all these on our website so people can go back to listen to these conversations that we have. And it's really what it is, Brickwood and Marlene. It's about getting that conversation, get this information out to the public, let them understand how policy works, first of all, with your all these bills, but also understanding that, we have to think of the future,
Yes.
and we always need to think of our kupuna.
Yes.
And so hopefully you're going to have some intergenerational programs as well. But,
Absolutely.
Is there any pressing bills we need to know about going on, or?
No, at this particular point, well, we're looking at the budget right now, and all of the budget appropriations for all of the senior centers is what I think people should at least bear in mind that we're going through right now. This is the big budget process. As far as senior bills are concerned, I think we've begun conversations about long-term care and how that's going to work. We've begun conversations. We're into about our third year of conversations on the caregiver bill. But in politics, sometimes timing is what it's about, And it may be about a year away from us actually addressing substantially the long-term care, because it comes out to about $70 a day for 365 days. It doesn't have to be consecutive,
Right.
but once you sign up for it, it certainly can help the high cost of
A
care.
portion of the cost, but also that's right now it's about the cost of an adult day center. So that's one of the new things today people are looking at, because you can drop off your loved one at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, go to work, come back and pick them up at 4 or 5 o'clock.
Very
in the afternoon.
popular.
Very popular.
Yeah.
It's growing.
And
because
growing.
that includes meals and everything, and
Yes.
activities.
Yes.
They don't let them sleep all day long.
Yeah.
And they have programs throughout the day. So, one of our new partners in our magazine is called Live Well at Iwalei.
Oh yeah,
That's the one by Kahalanui. It's right down before Chinatown, before you come into town.
Oh,
Right
okay.
on the right side, in that state rental for senior housing,
sure.
the new building on the right side before you come into Chinatown.
Oh wow, that's
It's called
great.
Live Well at Iwalei.
Yeah.
I didn't realize private nursing homes were so costly, so expensive. They come up to it could be the average price if you look at private care, almost $150,000 a year for this
Private care, that's skilled care.
skilled care.
Yeah.
And that's 10 to 12,000 a month, somewhere 14,000.
Yeah.
Like Leahi's 14,000 a month. Palolo Chinese Home, they're all in that skilled
that
care.
area. Yeah.
Even intermediate care will run you between $6,000 and $8,000 a month, and that's private pay. And that's one of the bills that I don't think got to be read as well, is the one that they're trying to save about 20-something million for Leahi and Malohia,
Right.
because they lost 2 units last year.
Sure.
That's 72 beds.
Which means that 72 beds will now go back into the community or go back home. And, that's where some of these bills are aiming to help the aging in place population.
Yeah.
Because some of it is forced, some of it is, it's a master plan, but, who knows?
But not having those beds puts a big stress on the family. And like I say, I'm 56. Can I take off work to take care of mom and dad? I mean, that's really the scary part, because we're seeing more and more baby boomers running into that situation, and it's a pretty scary thought. Like I said, if these beds don't come back, the Big Island just lost 20 beds.
Oh my!
Just last month. And
interesting, the need could extend to the fact that maybe your parents live in Hawaii, but you've gone on to college, and now you're making a life for yourself somewhere else. So you got to decide how you're going to work that, right?
Yeah, the long distance caring. Yeah.
especially for the neighbor islands. Because there's no jobs. Maybe they want to see the world, see the U.S., and we're seeing a lot of that. And the downside with the neighbor islands is not enough doctors. It's really scary thought to think about. If you like on a Big Island, there's no orthopedic surgeon working at night.
So it's a combination of concerns.
At the Capitol, we're trying to incentivize young doctors to stay home once they get their medical doctorates. And we incentivize them. We had a bill that would keep them home for 5 years. We'll give them a break on their tuition or whatever it is.
Well, they're going to need something, and the scary part is that for every person that graduates in gerontology for seniors, a doctor in gerontology, there's over 400 graduating in pediatrics.
Yeah, how's that one? Huh?
Oh.
Well,
everybody wants to live for children. They don't want to work with seniors.
You got a market coming in.
I don't know.
But that balance is a little off, though.
It really is. And
Wow.
so I tell people, make sure your doctor is younger than you.
Yeah,
Because, with the Medicare, a lot of older doctors not going to take Medicare anymore.
that's true.
Because there's a whole new computer system they have to buy. They have to do reporting. Every patient needs to be reported on. It has to be dialogued in the computer.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest issues we're seeing with Medicare, the Obamacare. And I think it's great, but it's helping a lot of people. But it's causing more stress for the docs out there.
Percy, I want to thank you because I know I got to run back to the Capitol. Even on Saturdays, we're working. But I want to thank you and Generations Magazine for what you folks do. You guys have really, you're a quality addition to the landscape for seniors.
Thank you.
You've raised the bar. We appreciate working with you, especially Kupuna Power, which is coming up April 6th at the Rotunda of the State Capitol. Come down. Marlene Sai, Danny Kalekini, Frank De Lima, Frank De Lima. He's finally accepted.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine what Frank will be doing in his spot? Frank De Lima, with the kupuna.
Yeah, but I just figured it out just now. As the 4-2-2 part is because he's a 2-2.
Well, that's kind of fitting, yeah.
Yeah.
2-2-2.
But anyway,
Thank you
we'll
so
see
much,
you at
Brickwood.
the Capitol, and thank you so much, Percy. And listen. You won't have any trouble. Just ask Marlene one simple question. How are you? 20 minutes later.
And I love you, too.
Yeah, I love you, too.
We're going to take a short break. Thank you, Senator Brickwood Galatario. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Back with Percy Ihara from Generations Radio. If you have any questions or want to be part of our discussion, give us a call at 296-5467. That's 296-5467. This is Generations Radio on AM 690 The Answer.
Moon Physical Therapy is here to help you back to recovery. Moon Physical Therapy is located on Ward Avenue across from Sports Authority. Physician prescribed for motor vehicle accidents, workman's comp, or that body pain that comes from rushing to play without warming up. Also event cardiopulmonary rehabilitation with our one-on-one patient care. Moon's Aquatherapy heated endless pool allows for low-impact exercise with less pain on land. We will give you the right exercises to get you back to health. Ask your doctor to prescribe Moon Physical Therapy. Moon Physical Therapy. We achieve results.
Aloha, this is Martha Clopin.
And Al Harrington. Choosing the right Medicare plan not only saves you money, it also helps you avoid headaches and heartaches down the road.
We want to remind everyone
to listen to a Medicare Moment with Martha, Sundays from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. as we help answer important questions on Medicare so you can stay healthy, wealthy, and wise all year long.
Call me at 543-2073, 543-2073.
I was an addict from the age of 13. I finally decided it was time for a change. I walked into the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center, and that got me ready for the real world. Now, I choose to be guided by Jesus Christ, and today, I'm building a powerful and promising future, free from drugs and alcohol.
Please shop at the Salvation Army family stores. With our discounted sales, your support through your purchase helps men live a clean, sober, and productive life.
Got Vegas on your mind? Get Vacations Hawaii on the line. Vacations Hawaii offers weekly 4- and 5-night Honolulu to Vegas packages, which include 3 meals daily from $6.99. Stay at Hawaii's favorite casinos, California, Fremont, Main Street Station, and Orleans Hotel. Vacations Hawaii will get you there in comfort on deluxe wide-body 767 planes with complimentary in-flight hot meal service. Vacations Hawaii's frequent flyer program gives you future travel discounts and credits. So if you're ready to win big, call Vacations Hawaii at 591-4777 or visit pointvacationshawaii.com.
Today, more than ever, we local people are living longer than any other state in the Union, with more seniors, baby boomers, and caregivers. Generations Radio promotes the importance to be proactive as we all age. The radio team will focus on issues facing our seniors and their families, finding resources to navigate healthy aging along with financial, legal, and caregiving information. So join Percy E. Hauer from 5 until 6 each Saturday, right here on AM 690 The Answer. Focusing on the issues facing our seniors and their families today. Here's our Generations Radio host, Percy Ihara.
And welcome back to Generations Radio. Sorry, Senator Brickwood Galateria had to leave to go back to the Capitol and to hear a couple hearings and some meetings over there. So we're here with Marlene Sai. And Marlene, I don't remember, well, you probably don't remember. You probably met hundreds and thousands of people. But when I first met you at the old Watertown, must have been about 1 o'clock at night, maybe 2, maybe 3, and you walked in after your show, and we were at Watertown. For a lot of people don't know, well, you can explain to her what it is, but and I was like the only Japanese in the whole place, you know. And it's like, and he goes, "Oh, you look kind of rascally." And it's like, come on, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. We're all having fun here, and you know, it was a great night. But Watertown wasn't that? That was one of my favorite places.
Watertown was the place to go after you work. Just to, unveil and just to relax and kick back, visit with friends. And because everybody comes from their shows, and they come and they congregate there and just kanikapila. Yeah. But everybody, it was a fun place, wasn't it, Percy?
Boise Rodriguez,
yes.
Daryl Lupunui.
Yes.
I've seen Don Ho there before back in the day. I mean, gosh.
Loyal would come over from the Ilika. Just everybody, everybody would come over and have a grand time. Oh, what memories.
Yeah, that was really, I loved the older Hawaiian music. I was telling you, this last weekend, they had the Moana Westin Hotel's 115th anniversary.
Yes.
And they had the Hawaii Calls, kind of a rendition, and Makana did a fantastic job. And I was sitting across Jack and Shaw Thompson and Wayne Harada, and we're talking about, man, we just love this old music. And Nina was there, and it was just, I said, we got to find a way.
It's nostalgic and it's classic.
Classic, nostalgic, but it was just good music. You can sit back and really enjoy it. For classic music like that, you never forget that.
No.
Nothing against Hawaiian, the local current music, but this stuff is so classic. You'll go to bed sleeping thinking about those songs.
And like Nina's family was very connected to Hawaii Calls, and so they were on it every Saturday. I was a guest on Hawaii Calls when I started in my very young age, and I remember being at the Moana and Webley Edwards, and singing, and of course you had Aloha Perry. I mean, I can go on naming the musicians because the vision that I have, as soon as I mention the word of that and the time of that Moana gathering weekly, it just brings back wonderful, wonderful, cherished memories.
Well, it's hopefully at some point in the next few years we see that rendition somewhere outside of Waikiki, because nobody wants to go into Waikiki. There's too much traffic and
I wish you all the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. And if I can help in any way, please let me know.
Well,
I would love to see something like that.
That's a goal of mine,
happen.
and I think with the magazine Generations, we have to pass all this great music down. Besides stories of life, but
exactly.
The music is what keeps people in their hearts, and you go to sleep thinking about these and dreaming of these songs, and it's just great.
I know.
But anyway, so now you're working on a big project down in Kaka'ako area.
I am. And as Brickwood was saying to you, or Senator Brickwood,
yes.
he was mentioning to you that I had been at the Capitol with him for about 4 or 5 years, and it was a fun time. This is the first year I'm not back with him there because I am the program coordinator, and as you put it, plus for the Nakapuna Makamai Center. And the location is, as he mentioned, as the old pump station in Kaka'ako.
Across the old Comp USA, if people remember that.
Exactly. And as we're speaking right now, we've restoration has begun. So this week, that big tree in the front should be we've been told,
really?
And down. And they've already cleaned out the inside of that main building. And it's Nen Inc. who's the contractor,
right.
And they're working on the building itself. So, Percy, we'll keep our fingers crossed because I'm looking forward to being in the building and getting all of our programs up and going by mid to late summer.
Well, is there another? You had mentioned earlier. There's another building behind that you have access to.
Behind,
as well?
Okay, that whole property.
Mm-hmm.
You have that main building in the front, which everybody sees driving up and down Ala Moana.
Right.
Okay. Behind it are 2 smaller buildings, stone buildings. Okay. One smaller than the other, and the one maybe about a medium size compared to the larger one in the front. Those 2. Hopefully by the end of the year, we can start to do restoration on that. But first, we're working on the main building. Yeah. But all of that will be part of Nakapuna Makamai. And we can hardly wait to get some of our programs off and running. And
are you allowed to talk about some of those programs that you're looking at coming?
Okay, sure. I'd love to. And on top of that, if I may, we've gleaned from and met with other senior centers. The tried and the true. You're talking about Lanakila and you're talking about Ili, and they're the Catholic charities, and they've been around for a while, and so it's been wonderful to hook up with them. So some of the programs that we have are for the area and for others who are interested. Hula, definitely, because everyone is asking for hula. So hello from Nakapuna Makamai Center. Ukulele, beginners, intermediate, and of course, eventually, maybe advanced. We're looking at the different exercise programs, whether they be yoga or Tai Chi, or we've looked with yoga definitely, and we've talked to someone that's doing Tai Chi. And everyone is excited, and they can hardly wait to begin with us. Not only that, we have arts and crafts. But we talked about intergenerational earlier. Mm-hmm. And with the connections of some of the schools, the high schools surrounding the area, we're hooking up with a couple of them so that some of their students can come in and hook up with our kupuna and teach them, and the kupuna can as well reverse that teaching and share some of their stories, but teach them the computer, So oftentimes, like I have my iPad. I will always look at my grandchildren and say, help, Gramps, please help, And many of us have the telephones, and to use it to full capacity and to work out all of the different apps in there. We really don't know a lot of it, so we just telephone out, take a phone call coming in, and snapshot because it's photo. So all the basic stuff. But can you imagine with the kupuna having that hands-on information from the young and just having a grand old time? So
That's
yes,
really
we are
important.
looking. Yes, also talking about programs with that big property there. We're thinking of gardening as well.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
Seniors love.
Yeah.
I have several family members that don't want to move out of their home because they have their yard.
Yes.
They have the garden.
Yes.
That's what, one of them said, this is what I live for.
Exactly.
In the 90s,
Yeah. So yeah, we're also definite on the gardening. So we do have a lot of great thoughts, great plans for the place. Some of the programs that we have started, initiated, like the home health care that I mentioned when Brickwood was here. And the interest is there. The interest is there, and it is needed by all of us. And I say all of us, I include myself because I am kupuna. I'm 75 this year. And
wow, you look great.
Oh, thank you.
Your energy level is incredible.
Well, the kupuna. When people say, what kind of people are you? Well, the kupuna is the ones that are, they're young at heart and they want to learn, they want to do, and they want to get up and dance. They want to exercise. Yeah.
It's important. Well, I hope this when you get the schools involved, because my son goes to Assets by the airport, and every year they do a kupuna day.
Oh, fab.
And it's funny. This year they brought in my parents went, my son's grandparents went down there, and they said they sat all the seniors, all the grandparents down, and he said, "Can you tell a story to your grandson about what it was like going to school back when you went to school?"
Yes, yeah.
And my mother said, "Well, my mother grew up in Haleakala Dairy."
Oh. Okay.
So she said, "I walked to school, but we had to make sure we didn't step on any poop in the field." Looking at her like, poop in the field? Yeah, she literally walked 2 miles of school.
Of course.
On Haleakala Dairy. It was so funny, but
that is wonderful. You see, those are really choice.
Those are kind of stories that they need to know.
Yes.
I mean, we joke about some of them didn't have TV. I mean,
right.
The iPad's only been around about 8 years.
Yeah, I know.
They don't really realize that for some people, they did walk to school.
Of course.
I mean, now the kids are so spoiled with that,
Yes.
But it's really important. Those kind of stories. I think we had talked about, you might be trying to work with Alolike.
Yes.
They do a great program. I've been there as well.
And it was you who gave me that lead, and I thank you for it because every bit of that kind of information we appreciate.
Yeah.
Thank you. Percy.
It's so important because that's the treasure of Hawaii.
Exactly.
Not only the music, but the history of Hawaii. The language, the customs. Well, for me, food. Maybe have a cooking class. That's one of the clubs. Besides having a men's shed club that Brickwood talked about earlier,
yes,
offline, would be like a cooking club.
Now, wouldn't that be wonderful? See, one of the buildings in the back, we were thinking of turning that into like a kitchenette.
Oh, then there you go.
So that's very possible. That is very, very possible. And or sewing has also come up. With Pacific Gateway Center, which is the nonprofit organization that Nakapuna Makamai Center is under, has many, many, many wonderful programs that come under their guise. Okay, and the beauty of that is they have donated to Pacific Gateway Center various things. We have sewing machines.
Sewing machines?
We have.
Wow.
Professional sewing machines that have been donated. So we're looking at that as one of our programs. I'm glad you mentioned it. But yes, so the excitement is there. I can hardly wait. This entrance into this new digs, as you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has been prolonged for a few months. So I can hardly wait, Percy.
And the Hawaiian music, you're going to have music over there?
Definitely.
You got to have Kalakapila Fridays.
We're going to have Kanikapila, and, music is always wonderful for the soul, too,
Yeah.
And, we're going to have movie nights. We're talking about movie nights. That would be neat. Yeah.
Well, and you're gonna have parking down there as well, right?
We do have parking. That's neat. That's really neat.
Well, yeah. But plus, you're on the bus line,
and we're right on the bus line, right in front of our
and anybody
building.
can join, right? It's not like I know Lanakila and Waialili have, they don't have territory, but they usually have people in that area that belong to the center. But yours is open to anybody,
right? And and I have different friends who are about my age or maybe a few years younger. Or a little older, they say, well, wait a minute, I'm living in Kailua, I would love to come down. I said, hey, if you don't have the wheels, catch the bus, come on down. Mm-hmm. Can I come? It's not just for the kupuna in our area. It's open to everybody. So go online to pacificgatewaycenter.org, and we have some information there. If you have any questions, and as things start to unravel and as we start getting to a more positive view as to when our entrance will be, I'll have more information, and I'd love to talk with you.
And we'll have to have it in the Generations magazine as well.
Please,
because
yes.
You're probably the first one in the public that I will see this. I'm showing Marlene Sai this picture, and this picture is the cover of our April-May issue, and that cover is the biggest senior center in the state. It's Lanakila Center.
No kidding.
So that's the new April. That you're the first one in the public to see that.
This is a fabulous picture.
It is in print right now. Lanakila Center has about 18 different programs. But these are 3 seniors at Lanakila.
Yes.
And their motto is to learn, to play, to network, and have fun. Yes. And that issue is coming out in April, probably about the first week of April. But no, we're definitely going to have you talk about Nakupuna Makamai. But why? What does that mean? I know you mentioned it earlier to me, but for our audience that doesn't know what that means.
Our beloved seniors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, beloved seniors. And the Nakupuna, they're all around us. And we don't stop to think of ourselves as kupuna, but what it is it's a word that means, it's a senior. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Nakupuna Makamai is the beloved senior. And the beloved seniors because we are, we are. And we love, many of us are still, active, and we love dancing and singing and doing things. So come and visit us. Stay in touch.
So why is it with Pacific Gateway, by the way?
Well, because we were looking, and Pacific Gateway really did the approach to us, and it was a perfect fit. They having the nonprofit organization, and we wanting to be under a nonprofit. Their mission and everything was so fitting, and of course, it was just fitting all the way around.
So they're going to run the center?
It is actually Pacific Gateway Center. Okay. And under it is Nakupuna. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Okay. So you're also involved. We talked with Brickwood earlier. The Kupuna Power. How did that come about? By the way, is that what your idea?
I'll tell you the real story.
Okay. Brickwood's not
now
here
that
anyway.
He's not here. Back in 2012, he went out to visit a Kupuna residence in his district, and he took some paperwork on Medicare and subject matters that really reference them. Mm-hmm. And information that they should all know. What happened when he came back to the office the next day, he seemed to be a little, he called me in and he said, I have to tell you, he says, it was interesting because a lot of them didn't know a lot of this information. And I said, really? He said, no, they knew some and they knew not much. And
Medicare is pretty complicated.
Well, Medicare is complicated, but, he also mentioned long-term care at that time and theft and fraud and, to be careful. And so one thing led to another. And he said, what do you think we should do? And I said, well, you think about it. I think about it. And then all of a sudden we got together a few hours later and days later. And it was like, okay, what about a program? A program that will embrace wonderful things like entertainment, which you and I have been a part of, for 50 plus years. What about some exercise in there? Mm-hmm. But what about education? And in this program, we'll have different individuals to come from different agencies within the structure of our state city to talk about different matters, whether it be the police department to come and talk about, or somebody to talk about fraud, or someone to talk about Medicare. So we would have this, and they would have like 3 minutes. And so the delivery would have to be there. And between the music and all of this, and Brick is the MC, of course, we would inject it with a couple of 3-4 minutes of exercise. And we've had Silver Sneakers.
Silver Sneakers is a great program.
Yes, they would come and they would exercise from the chair, arms up, and you're looking down, you see the sea of kupuna, and they're just loving it. So it's taken on a personality all its own, and so this is our 4th year. We skipped 1 year because his leadership responsibilities was a little bit much, and just to take that on as well as everything else. So we didn't do it 1 year.
Yeah. Well, to tackle these issues with seniors, that's a big job in itself. So I give you a lot of credit to be the program director plus. But I mean, whatever we can do to help you out. We have a lot of resources in the magazine. We got to get the state, the city, ARP to help you out.
Yes.
For sponsors, if you need sponsors for programs. But I think we were talking about earlier, like Lanakila has over 18 different programs, and they have Hawaiian club, Japanese club, Okinawan club, Chinese club, Portuguese club, Korean club, and they even have Korean yoga, which is I never heard of Korean yoga. But they have Tai Chi.
Yes.
They have cooking, singing, dancing.
Yes.
I mean, those are the kind of things that's pretty exciting because you have a clean slate that you can take on.
I know. And it's really exciting because when the marketing coordinator and I, her name is Valerie O'Brien. She's on with me. So we went to visit Lanakila that day. We're walking around and we're going from room to room and seeing and learning about all the different programs and being taken on this tour. So we passed this one room and they have the beginner's ukulele. So I'm standing outside and I'm watching. There are more wahine than the guys that are taking
always.
taking this
Men
ukulele.
don't want to go to a
I don't
senior
see why
center.
not. I don't see why not. So they're sitting there and they're learning their chords and strumming and everything. Oh, then we going on and visiting, passing by yoga and passing with this. And one of the last classes that we just before leaving the place was intermediate ukulele. Oh. They had more men.
Intermediate?
Intermediate. And I was just cackling because they had the microphone and they're singing into the mic. They had a piano, somebody playing the piano. I mean, they had this whole thing happening. And I said, yes, this is wonderful. So they graduate from
beginner,
from the beginners, and they eventually end up here.
So did you jump in and sing with them?
I was ready to.
No, you should. I'm serious.
No.
I really
Listen,
want to find
I'm going to get very involved. Yeah, and they're going to ask me, "Will you please leave?" Because I'm going to want to, enjoy and play my ukulele and sing with them and enjoy and do a little hula and all of these things as well.
I was a center. I went to a conference many years ago in Dallas.
Yes.
Funny story. So I'm at the senior center, and I see about 50, young seniors, 67 years old, learning how to two-step. Oh. Two-step is like the dance in Texas and the South, right? So I'm over there looking at, this is before I really knew about senior issues and the senior programs. So I'm asking the director, I was like, these guys are all older. Shouldn't they know how to two-step by now? And the guy looks at me like, where are you from? I said, I'm from Hawaii. He goes, you know how to hula? I said, good point. You're right. Okay, I got to learn to. And then he goes, it was so funny. He was so quick, like, oh, you got me there. But I mean, not everybody knows how to hula.
Yes.
I don't know how to play the ukulele. I'm not very inclined. I sing karaoke not very well, but I think that's
I think you're just modest.
Karaoke too.
Sure.
That's another thing. People love to sing.
They love to sing.
At Lanakila, they have actually a class to teach the seniors how to sing in Japanese songs and how to the enunciation in Japanese songs is really cute.
See, maybe language. We can have some beginners language and different. I mean, there's so much. There's so.
Well, Hawaiian music, I love to sing. I'm not that good. And Frank B knows that. He started me to sing before and a couple other people. But I was trying to learn. I met Keali Raichel many years ago before he became famous. When Kawai Punahele first came out.
Oh, my gosh.
He sang the songs. I'm a Mid-Pacific grad. And he sang, the halau there danced to that song. And nobody really heard of it then. It just come out, and they won the state's hula championship with the high school. So I was sitting next to his parents, and I love this song. So I went home that night and got the words, and it took me like 4 months just to enunciate the whole song, just to get the enunciation of the words. And it's all
good for you, and you got it.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't sing that good, but it took me that long to understand how to enunciate the way he sang the words and Hawaiian words. It was just fantastic, though. That's a great song.
If you, being at Mid-Pac, did you ever think of joining Pupukahi, the halau there?
Well, when I was in school, no. No. It was back then when I went to school, no man wanted to be out. I was a football, basketball, baseball player, not the dance hula, but now they are one of the best in the state.
Oh, yeah, they
are. Who's the
Michael Casapang.
Michael Casapang. That guy is amazing.
Yeah,
he's a wonderful guy.
Yeah. He and Vito Baker are my kumu.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I am with the Hivas. Mm-hmm. That's the older women. Oh. So I was in the class. I'm a Hiva of Halau Ikavekiu.
Yeah, I know.
So is Dr. Miang of Pacific Gateway Center.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
So we're all Hivas.
Well, then we got to see that when it opens up. Now you're getting me excited to hear that thing. So
It'll
again,
be wonderful.
So they go online. A lot of seniors don't go online. Who do they call?
Call Pacific Gateway Center and ask for Marlene. I'm the only Marlene there.
Okay. Do you have that number by any chance real handy, or should they just have them Google it, but they don't Google it?
The number is 851.
You got it ready.
7010.
And again,
851 7010.
Now, is that your cell number, or is that the actual
No, that's the office number.
Okay.
And then if I'm not in, they'll take a message for me, and I'll get right back to you.
Yeah. And sometime in the summer, hopefully earlier than later. But yeah, I think, and you don't have to be a member. You just come down.
Okay.
You don't have to live anywhere, right?
Nope. And please, we want you to come too.
Oh, no, absolutely. I'll be down there.
And believe me, I'll let you know when we're going to be opening, because we'll be so excited.
Well, we want to have you on the show again.
To.
We partner now with KITV News. So every Saturday morning at 7:45, they do a segment called Aging Well.
Yes.
So we'll definitely want to have you down there. And maybe even if you invite us to the grand opening, we might be able to put it on there somewhere on the TV. But it's really important because you're such a treasure, but what you're doing with the seniors out there in the program, it's really, really needed.
Yes.
And people need a place to go, a comfortable, safe place to go as well.
Yes. See, and our neighbor in Kaka'ako, we couldn't be blessed more. We have the sheriff's department right next door.
Is it really?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah. So we're in okay company down there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. So you're right across Comp USA or the old pumping station.
Right across, it's the old pumping station. And the building, that main building, the year on it is 1900.
Really?
Yes.
On that concrete building?
On the concrete building. Wow. The concrete, the bigger one of the two that's in the back, just behind this main building, the one building, the medium-sized one, the number of the year on it, I believe, was 1940.
Wow.
So that came after this main building. So I don't know about the small one.
So Marlene Sai, thank you so much. She's talking about the Nakapuna Makamai. That's going to open up sometime during the summer. Yeah. Go to pacificgatewaycenter.org.
Yes.
Otherwise, they can call you at
851-7010.
And we have more. We'll have more of that in our magazine coming in a June, July issue. We'll have you on KITV News in the morning. But thank you so much. And don't forget, you can go to our website, generations808.com, and listen to this show. This show will be uploaded in a couple of weeks.
Terrific.
If they haven't heard it live this weekend. Also, they can go to hopefully in a couple of weeks, all our KITV interviews will be up on our website. We're revamping our website, by the way. It'll probably come out sometime in April. We're revamping our whole website. Don't forget to like our Facebook page. So make sure you get a Facebook page as well.
Yes.
But thank you so much. We're here every Saturday afternoon, 5 to 6, Sunday 3 to 4, here on AM 690, The Answer. And thanks to Senator Brickwood Galateria, we'll have to have him back on as well. So thank you so much, Marlene. Have a great weekend, and I'm looking forward to the opening of your center there.
And thank you for this pleasure, Percy.
Thank you
so much. Aloha.
Aloha, gang. Everybody, have a great weekend. Aloha, and live well.